Oh, it's a live show, right? It's back. But let's look at the news. Residents of 3 communities in Accra on Tuesday, they staged a demonstration to protest what they described as killer electricity tariffs, well beyond what was approved last December by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, and these are being charged by the utility companies.
The residents from Teshi, Nungor and La also demanding a relocation of the electricity meters from poles outside their homes, vowing to stage further protests if their complaints are not addressed. Jennifer Akuyamura was there and came through with this report.
Hundreds of residents from Teshi, La and Nungwa combined forces to protest what they say are astronomical electricity tariffs. They're demanding the Electricity Company of Ghana take immediate steps to rectify the overbilling problem.
From our check, we realize we have 27 different electricity meters in the country right now. But the very meters that we have around these 3 communities, Teshi, Nungwa, and La, kind of, we don't know the problem with it. These 3 communities are the places that has illegal connections. We do illegal connections. We don't pay electricity bills. So they went somewhere and they saw these meters, and they think that meters can check illegal connections. So they brought it to these communities. What they do is they place the meters about 200, 300 meters away from our homes on the electricity poles. So in the night, when your power goes off, you will have to walk in the dark to the poles about 300 meters to reload.
As you could say, I'm an elderly person, but I'm demonstrating because of the killer tariffs. We are pleading with the PURC to reduce the service charge. Okay? We are not against the prepaid meter per se, but one, the taxes are too much, the service charges, and then the rates at which the PURC has set the rate at which we are paying, that is today all unbearable. And then secondly, the taxes on it, the government must see to it that they reduce the taxes.
Some of the residents tell Joy News persistent efforts to get the ECG and the MCE for Lejokuku to respond to their concerns have yielded no results.
We send the MC letters, we have sent the ministers and some of the MPs so that they should come and join us, but we don't know the reason why they are not yet. So far as they are not here, we will send them letters so that they can do something about it. Actually, we have been complaining about the prepaid. I, for instance, I'm a student at the same time a worker. I may buy credit, maybe 30 Ghana. At the end of the week, maybe it's not less than the week, but the credit will vanish. And we don't know the reason why. When they off the light, and maybe 5 minutes back, when they switch it on, then the credit will get vanished. We don't know the reason why he's doing that, because that's not what they told us.
The demonstrators were joined by the NPP parliamentary candidates for La Dade Kotopong, Vincent Soa, and Krowo constituency, Elizabeth Quay, who indicated they were in agreement with the complaints of the people.
We've joined the ordinary people of La Teshi and Nungwa to tell the government about the high utility tariffs and its impact on their lives. When you talk to people across these 3 constituencies, remember, the people who live in the townships in La Teshi and Nungwa, one of the deprived people, they are very deprived areas. They can't afford the high utility tariffs, so we thought it was important to join them and to let the government understand and know that the high utility tariffs are affecting their lifestyle.
We are going to continue to demonstrate and to drum home to Mahama that his time is up. His incompetence is more than over. We are telling him that there's a more competent person who is Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He is capable of taking care of the economic issues. He is capable of bringing down the electricity tariffs. And so Mahama should step aside.
Neither the MCE nor the MP for Lejokuku were present to receive the petition from the residents. But the demonstrators say they don't intend to give up until their issues are addressed.
And if you know Teshi,
we don't have electricity, we can watch Kum Kum Bagia.
I saw one of the placards, at least. There's an advert.
We can watch air show.
That's
we
an
don't have
activation.
electricity.
Yeah.
Hopefully you do.
But let's look at this. The Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice says it has received at least 2 petitions calling for a probe into President Mahama's conduct in receiving the Ford gifts. And we all know this is a controversy.
Well, one of the petitioners, the CPP's youth wing, filed its petition on Monday asking Shraj to investigate the president for accepting a Ford Expedition vehicle from a Burkinabe contractor because they believe it contravenes the 1992 Constitution. The government says the president never used the vehicle and that it was placed in the vehicle pool at the presidency. The petitioners insist the acceptance of the vehicle itself violates the Constitution. Fafa Koshibi, who speaks for the CPP youth, was on Pulse on Tuesday.
Know that after the piece by Manasseh, Ghana's image is trending negatively, and also considering the moral decadence of the youth these days. This issue about bribery, corruption, and things, so it's not auguring well for the youth. So that's why the CPP youth took it upon themselves that issues now about corruption, it shouldn't be treated well. Just like that, it must be addressed to the appropriate quarters so that findings and things can come out. Then we make sure we get to the roots of most of the issues so that that can also tone down the rate at which corruption is rising.
Okay.
And most especially how sensitive it is to the image of Ghana because it's about the presidency, the first gentleman of the state. If we want to go there as to whether it's a bribe, because our petition so far, we want a neutral body, the appropriate authorities to address the issue. The CPP youth are not saying it is a bribe. We are not mandated to determine whether it's a bribe or not a bribe. And that's why
is that
even
what
Manasseh,
you want Shraj to do?
Yes, we raised 3 major points.
Okay.
That's one, the negative trend at which is going, it won't augur well for the state. So Shraj should step in quickly and then try to air what actually is the verdict after all the points stated by the investigator.
Okay.
And 2 also is that the code of conduct for public officers. We realize that the president also launched the code of conduct for the ministers. They shouldn't accept gifts to a certain amount and things. So, but if you want to value the car and all those things, which we don't want to conclude as to whether it's a bribe or something. And also, since we were combing the Constitution, we realized that the state, the Constitution, the Parliament actually enacted law to normalize some of those things, and the appropriate body was Shraj. So quickly, we had to write to Shraj so that they step in and then clear the image of Ghana.
Our Deputy Shraj Commissioner Joseph Whittle, who acknowledged receipt of the petition from the CPP Youth Wing, stated that a second petition had also come through to the Commission.
He explained on Joy FM's top story how Shraj would approach the matter, showing a thorough job will be done.
But today we've begun the initial assessment of the allegation that has come from the CPP National Youth League. When we are satisfied that it meets all the requirements for a complaint or an allegation, properly so to speak, that is when we have a duty under the Constitution to immediately forward it to the President for him to comment whether he is admitting the contravention or non-compliance in written form to us. And if he does not, then we have to ensure that the matter is investigated according to our constitutional instrument that guides our investigations. Certainly, we are looking for the truth, and we need to let the people of Ghana know the truth. If it will mean that we would have to bring certain people to testify, why not? It can take quite some time, depending on, again, how accessible the evidence is to us. Going by what we have heard and around, if much of it is documentary, I foresee that won't take so long. Well, let me even add that we've even received yet another one from an individual. I'm still looking at it.
On the same matter?
On the same matter. And so I would like to assure Ghanaians that the Commission will live up to its constitutional responsibility in ensuring that thorough investigation is done, and we will not sacrifice the thoroughness of the outcomes of the investigation on the altar of the issues that may border on elections, because we have a duty to uphold the conduct of public officers, not because there is a time within which that must be done, but because we require the evidence to establish the fault or otherwise.
Who is the second person who has also filed one?
Well, I've just come onto my desk. Somebody called Adolfo. I'm still looking at it when your call came through.
Okay, so this is literally the last few minutes.
Yes, in fact, it came in about a minute or two ago before your call came in.
I see. And in the pairs, you haven't seen the last of this because another party has also indicated publicly, PPP's Dr. Indung's party, that will also be bringing you one on Thursday.
Well, we are set up for that, and for us, we think it's good enough. We're testing our democracy. It's important that we clarify all issues so that we can move on as a people together. I think that is what is important. And so when they all come, we will consolidate them and take them together because we can't handle them as separate complaints. And so we look forward to those who are yet to come forward, except, of course, that why would we want to be duplicating the same issues when somebody else has been able to break the ice and bring it to the commission first?
The Supreme Court says it will rule on a suit against government's decision to admit into Ghana 2 former inmates of the Guantanamo Bay prison on Wednesday if the Attorney General fails to show up in court.
The judges at the Apex Court say they have had enough of the continuous absence of a representative from the Attorney General's department to facilitate determination of the case. Early this year, 2 private citizens, Margaret Bamfo and Henry Nanabuache, sued the Attorney General and Minister of Justice together with the Minister of Interior, accusing President John Mahama of illegally bringing in the 2 former Gitmo detainees in contravention of the laws of the state. The 2 plaintiffs are seeking, among other reliefs, a declaration that on a true and proper interpretation of Article 75 of the 1992 Constitution, that's the President of the Republic of Ghana acted unconstitutionally by agreeing to the transfer of Mahmoud Umar Mohammed bin Atef and Khalid Mohammed Salih Al-Dubi to Ghana, although the Attorney General's Department and the Interior Ministry have been served the statement of case. They are yet, we're told, to file their defenses.
Another story is President John Dramani Mahama says the rapid bus transit system will start functioning before the end of the year.
He said this during his Accounting to the People tour of the Greater Accra region.
The buses have arrived. You can see the buses at the back there. The terminal has been completed. Ayalolo bus service, a very appropriate name for this system. The system is unique in the sense of the fact that the buses are going to move according to time. If it's every 30 minutes, a bus will take off. Whether it's full or it's not full, 30 minutes it will take off. So the conductors are not going to stand and be shouting, Accra, 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 Accra. 30 minutes, if a bus must move, it will move. And we're starting with this corridor, Amasamai of Anko Achimota to Tudu corridor. There'll be 2 kinds of buses. There'll be the express bus, and that one will go straight, direct. And there'll be the ones that stop along the road. So if you're going to stop in Tesano, you don't take the express service, you take the one that stops along the road, so that when you get to Tesano, you can get off. It's going to be a new system. It's going to be a new system, and you can use your mobile phone to pay the fare. And so if you have mobile money, you use your mobile and pay the fare, and you can ride the bus. You know, it's going to be electronic ticketing. And so if you have an electronic ticket, you slot it and then you ride the bus. This is a collaboration between government and the private transport unions. And so we formed an overseeing company called GAPTI, that will be responsible for supervising the operations of the bus. There's going to be an operations room here. It's fully computerized, and there will be people there monitoring. At every one time, they can tell where every single bus is, and whether it's late or it is on time, they'll be able to tell, and they can communicate with the driver and tell him what to do. And so this is a modern system. We're starting with the Amasaman of Anko Achimota route, and then from there, we're going to start with Adenta to Accra. Then we're going to start from Kaswa to Accra, and then we'll do Tema to Accra. So all the lateral routes coming into the city are going to be served with this new bus system. But Amasaman of Anko Achimota, you are number one, and that's why we're starting here. And so I want to thank you very much for the warm welcome you gave me. I'll be back here for us to commission and launch this bus project. This is just an inspection visit. They are finishing the terminal in Accra Central, and once that is finished, before the end of this year, I'll come and will officially launch the service.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority is warning of possible plane crashes at the Kotoka International Airport if equipment purchased for air safety control are not installed immediately.
The authority alleges that lands which have been earmarked for the installation of the equipment have been sold out to encroachers.
According to staff of the authority, 2 parcels of land at Tadentan Lankwantanan and Labadi La Wireless for aviation development and expansion have been taken over by government and private developers. The lands, on which vital communication and surveillance equipment for planes operating at the Kotoka International Airport should have been erected, are being developed into residential structures. In an interview with Francis Arban on the Pulse, the president of the Ghana Air Traffic Safety Electronic Association, Samuel Tando, says the inability to install the equipment as well as other navigational equipment at the site will have dire consequences on aviation safety in the Accra airspace.
With the transmitter and receiver, they are not supposed to be at the same on the same marks. You are supposed to separate them. We have a 600,000 euro equipment lying down that we cannot install on the land because of the development that is going on there. We went there to do the installation and we're chased out. Chased out by who? The powers that be, you don't know. And you see, if we don't do this thing, the ones that we are using are old. So we need to install new equipment. If we don't do that, it means you can't cover large areas. And what will happen is an accident. Very soon, if we don't step up the game, what will happen is that even the oceanic area will be taken from us.
And if it's taken from us, give me an understanding of what the implications will be for our aviation sector.
Revenue.
How much do we earn in terms of revenue from that sector?
We can't speak as to how much we earn, but we make a lot of money from that.
The authority says it will be unable to provide traffic services over the ocean and other portions of the airspace if the problem is not resolved.
It's very difficult to talk to the aircraft. Our main job is to separate one aircraft from the other. You know, you have an airspace that you control, and it is your duty to ensure that aircraft don't bump into each other. And we do that by surveillance and by communication. Surveillance, I mean, we have radar systems, we have ADS, B system, and other navigational aids. So if we are not able to use these facilities, definitely, in fact, we don't know the individuals. Our concern was to saw the building springing up, and when we went there, we were chased out. So we made an appeal to the ministry, first to our management. They also made an appeal to the ministry, to Land Commission. We followed it up to the ministry. The minister wrote letters to them, shown copies, asking for at least portions of the land so that we could install this our equipment. But as we speak now, nothing has come out of it.
When Joy News visited the designated land at Adentan, our cameras captured construction work ongoing at various portions of the land. No official was ready to speak to the news team to confirm or deny the allegations of the staff of the GCAA.
And that'll be it for the news. But before we go on to look at what the stories front back pages, it's the birthday of this very man.
Yeah, he's a powerful man, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
This he's been keeping quiet, speaking statemanly. I think that's beautiful. Happy birthday to you, former president of the Republic of Ghana, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlins.
Yeah, it's your birthday today. Enjoy it. We wish we could, you know, surprise you or do something. But man, today's the 22nd. You know, boys are broke. Enjoy your birthday, say happy birthday.
Boys are broke. Boys are broke. In the Father Republic. Well, that'll be it. And please, you want to get interactive, please make sure you do so on Facebook. We have the page, Join Us on TV. And then we also have a handle on Twitter, Join Us on TV. And right now you can watch us streaming live on our YouTube channel, Niger Online.
We've got the newspapers up next here on the show.